Hey, it's me, Riker. Today we're going to have a look at my progress update on my starter account. So as we can see, I've made substantial progress in the campaign, where previously I was in chapter 23 and now I am all the way in chapter 28. So let's have a look at the deficit I'm currently fighting. So these have been the main heroes that I've been using to progress all the way to chapter 28, and I've solved a significant amount of problems that I previously had, where essentially anytime that I would face a Grazul enemy, essentially I would not be able to pass it without a mercenary. However, because I have built Daemon, Daemon is one of the best heroes to counter enemy tanks, as Daemon can easily chew through their defenses and tank all the damage that he can take because of his shields and the amount of healing Daemon can do. Now let's have a look at the heroes that have helped me get so far. Now I've gotten extremely lucky as I've been able to ascend Rowan, as he's been a core unit for my allies, as he provides healing, energy, and a bit of stuns for my team. In addition to that, I'll eventually get him to 30 signature item and 9 furniture, as this will improve the effectiveness and allow him to essentially stand on the front row and easily take all the damage, while his backline allies can use their abilities and use their ultimate skills. In addition to that, as we can see, Lucius has fallen off, as most of the time he gets one shot irrespective of where he is placed. Essentially, he can't use any of his abilities, as he instantly, as he walks out, he dies. So I'm going to still keep on working on him, and once I get him ascended, I'll probably use him as a dimensional link to either Arthur or Better and so forth, in order to link up a hero and free up another ascended hero from my list. So the next hero that I'm working on from the light bearers is Moro, as he provides a significant amount of damage and control for my allies, as he's used in both arena, in campaign, and in the Lightbearer Tower. Now from the Maulers, the biggest benefit that I have had has been from Brutus. This hero has been a game changer and will be a game changer for any account progressing through any stage of the game, both early and chapter 46 and onwards. The reason why is because of his immunity shield. Essentially, when Brutus dies, or when he's brought on low health, he gains a shield for a couple of seconds. This shield allows him to immune for that period of time, and is immune to all damage. This essentially buys you a significant amount of time for your allies to essentially use their abilities and, more importantly, use their ultimates. This is crucial and has essentially been the reason why I've been able to progress so far. Essentially, without him, I haven't even been able to progress half as far as I currently have. In addition to that, I'm also working on Screv, as he's slowly becoming my main damage dealer and taking over that role from Screg, as currently my Screg is my highest ascended Mauler. However, both of these heroes, when paired together, they can deal a significant amount of damage, as Screg can group their enemies and Screg can easily charge through 5 enemies at once. So let's have a look at my Wilder roster. So Tassie is currently ascended, which is great, and I'm currently working on Saurus. The reason why I'm working on Saurus instead of heroes like Laika, Raku, or Iron is because Saurus plays a significant role in dealing damage to bosses such as guild bosses, Twisted Realm, and he plays a significant role in the Wilder Tower. In addition to that, once he is leveled to all the way to 30 signature item, his role becomes essentially a healer instead of a damage dealer, and I can, for example, substitute in other heroes whose primary role is damage, such as Scarlet, Grazul, Irons, and so forth. And this will essentially give me more freedom into the heroes that I can use when fighting bosses, especially if you have, for example, heroes such as twins and they're not that ascended. Saurus can easily top off any of your allies all the way to full in a matter of split seconds. So, the faction that I've invested the most has been Graveborn, and this has substantially paid off, where Daemon has become my main tank and damage dealer, and this has been done through the engravings, 30 engravings that I've put on him, the signature item which I plan to take him all the way to 30, and the furniture which once I'll get him all the way to 9 furniture. This will make him extremely effective and allow him to deal a substantial amount of damage in campaign. In addition to that, once I have multi-stage fights in campaign from chapter 30 on and onwards, this will allow me to branch out my heroes and allow them to be spread out in multiple fights and deal damage and conquer victory over the enemies. As you can see, the next hero that has been crucial to my success in campaign has been Pharrell. This hero has been invaluable in what he can do. The amount of stuns, fears, and energy reduction that this one hero provides is crucial to you. Essentially, this hero can take control of about 2 to 3 heroes by himself. Essentially, he can lock these enemies down while your allies constantly nuke them with their ults and other abilities. Now, the next hero that I'm currently working on is Grizzle, and he will most likely be my next tank that will replace Brutus, where Brutus can essentially stall enemies, while the same is true for Grizzle. However, once he's invested in properly and paired up with the correct allies, he can become even the best damage dealer in the game. However, I still need to invest into his signature item, his furniture, and his engravings, where I plan to take his engravings all the way to 60 once I have the necessary resources to do so. Now, the next hero that I'm working on is Odin. As similar to Grizzle, the longer the fight goes on, the more damage both of these heroes can do. So, this means that both of these heroes scale extremely well with the amount of investment that you put in them. So the more investment that you put in them, the more effective they will be at dealing with the enemies and conquering victory for you. Now, one of the most powerful healers in the game, this is the next healer or the next support that I'm working, is Silas. Now, from the early game, this hero has been invaluable to me. However, because he was only elite when I started with him, his effectiveness slowly dropped off, as most of the time he was constantly getting one shot by Sylvanas and other heroes. So he is the next hero that I'll be working for in the Graveborn faction. Now, as you can see, I've got enough copies to get him all the way to Ascended. However, I still need a bit of food, a couple of fodder heroes, and this will allow me to get him all the way to Ascended and a couple of stars. However, I don't plan on engraving him just yet, as I have still other heroes that I need to engrave before I can start working on Silas. So from the Celestial roster, I got extremely lucky with a stone pull and I pulled another awakened Tailene. However, if I get a couple of extra diamonds or a couple of extra time emblem tickets from the Celestial Tower once I break through into chapter 30, then I'll most likely summon the rest and get her all the way to Ascended. However, that's still a while away, so once I get there, I'll start working on my awakened Tailene. Now, any spare stargazing tickets I've used on Lucretia, and this is slowly starting to progress my Lucretia. However, I still would like to get a couple of Ascended heroes from my various factions. So I'm still missing a couple heroes that I would like to ascend, such as Skraelth. I would like to ascend him before I start pivoting all my resources into stargazing. The same is true for Wilders, where I would like to at least ascend him, Saurus, in order to be able to start stargazing. However, I'm very happy with my current progress on the Greyborn faction, and I plan to essentially still keep on using whatever faction scrolls on my Greyborn faction. Now, from my dimensional roster, I've currently rehired Irons again. However, I plan to, once I reach the final garrison period for my Irons, so essentially I still need to rehire him another 3 more times. So once I get to my last one, I plan to use the excess resources, as I'm saving up excess resources every single month in order to start hiring Albedo, as this will significantly improve the effectiveness and it will give me a lot more variety in the amount of teams that I can use in campaign and in both arena. Now, because of the current event being the Eye of Gold, I've gotten a substantial amount of Labyrinth tokens, and this has allowed me to purchase another shard of Arthur. So I'm 15 shards away from getting my Ascended Arthur, and I only need to wait a couple of days before I can buy my final shard of Arthur. However, I'm going to save my Labyrinth tokens for the brand new dimensional hero. So as soon as this hero is available to be exchanged, I will easily be able to exchange for this hero, as I'm only a couple of shards away from getting this hero. Now, however, even though I've progressed substantial amount in campaign and in my Greyborn faction, this is also represented in my faction tower progression. As you can see, my main progression has been primarily in my Greyborn tower, where the rest of my towers are lagging behind while I slowly start ascending heroes from those specific factions. However, I'm trying to push as high as I can through the King's Tower, as it provides a substantial amount of gold, diamonds, dust, and a couple of purple and blue stones. In addition to progressing through the various King's Tower, I've also tried to max out all the events through the Peaks of Time, as they provide a substantial amount of progression and various resources to build up your heroes and make them stronger. However, I'm still struggling for a couple of these final Peaks of Time. However, I've been able to max out every single Wandering Balloon event, and as this has substantially progressed my account through the faction scrolls, signature item upgrades, Poe coins, and so forth. So, having a look at my Oak Inn, as you can see, all my heroes have already been fully unlocked, and now they're currently still just waiting to get their red furniture from here. As you can see, all the heroes that I have currently ascended are in my roster and are slowly being built up through the amount of Poe coins that I get. As you can see, most of them are still on their 1 or 2 pieces of furniture. However, as I get more progression through the various Peaks of Time, Wandering Balloon, and other events, this will allow me to easily get the remaining furniture and max out my heroes. So if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe.